First of all, way to go spoiling the plot with a badge title. But on a serious note, this is one of the best games I've ever played on Roblox. Finally a game that takes the word inspiration not too literally. We patiently waited over 2.5 years and look what came out of it, considering that it was made by a solo developer. This scientist/researcher is apparently tapping at nothing but a wallpaper. Halcyon operatives, well trained for crimes like this, are not wearing any gloves. Apparently they don't know what fingerprints are. Rose leaves her pistol on the desk and forgets that pockets and holsters are a thing. Which means this scientist/researcher could have laid low and sneaked to grab the pistol when Rose and the two operatives aren't looking. Come on Rose, Jackdaw taught you better than that. The PC uses Windows 10, which in 2012 at that time of this cutscene, isn't released. The van's wheels aren't rotating. Hold V to switch melee weapons isn't in the control list. Disabling a camera while standing in front of it and I don't get caught. Convenient disguise is convenient. No suspicion markers from the police, in the tutorial no less. For the sake of the tutorial, this police station leaves their evidence room unprotected with no cameras and high security doors. I know this sounds nitpicky, but I wouldn't call blowing up the Don Valley lab clean. Random spawning policeman. Also, he isn't armed somehow. I know it's a tutorial, but it would be great if this level exposes you to how the guards behave on a typical mission, considering you do not get prompted to do the kill house later. Yeah, you could just check it out after, but it's still a sin on this tutorial. How do you know they are bad guys? They wear dark clothing and sunglasses indoors. I didn't know Big Boss from Metal Gear made an appearance on this game. Ren, those two statements actually contradict each other. What kind of enemy would throw themselves on a silver platter? Or Jackdaw just wants to give a heads up to Halcyon, effectively blowing his cover away. Either way, it's a sin. Also, if Jackdaw indeed wanted to be seen by Halcyon, he would need to deliberately get his presence captured by the police, wait for them to stash it in the evidence room of a police station and then wait for Halcyon to steal it afterward, which is quite a reckless manner to reveal yourself. Maybe there's another double agent besides Rose that reveals information about Halcyon, but the game never confirms it, so it's a sin. Foreshadow irony. Here are the opening credits for the second time. You know, in case you thought you were playing Notoriety 2. Only 11 guns in the entire game. No other guns besides the Raven as a customizable frame. No confirmation prompt to play cutscenes. That would have made people not rejoin every time they misclick. The default UP9 is suppressed, but there's no remark of it in the inventory. We later find out that Rose has been working with Phoenix, and assuming Rose did contact Jackdaw, but 1 year between these two events and Phoenix doesn't relocate the stash for safekeeping somewhere else, and possibly not get Halcyon involved in the Lakehouse. I know Rose doesn't want both Halcyon or Phoenix to have the intel of the Lakehouse servers, but to eventually have the enemy organization to steal it gives you more of a headache while dealing with a complicated situation. I don't know, just my thoughts. Inability to adjust ADS sensitivities for different types of scopes. Outdated plan textures. Also, inability to stand back up on the plans. I've been spamming the stand button and nothing happened. Be honest, how many of you all died from the burning thermite? Unfortunately, that's totally what would happen in today's mission. Next. This room literally serves no purpose other than to act as an escape area. Rose, I know you want to keep Jackdaw safe and that line is subtle, but it's probably not the best idea to hint about working with him in front of the director. Server error 771. I know this is probably Roblox's fault, but it has been a consistent problem throughout the game. Roll credits. If you try to unlock the door before rewiring all of the power boxes, Rose will actually remind you to do so. That is a nice gesture we do appreciate. Ryan Ross, the paranoid financier, doesn't have camera surveillance inside his penthouse. I know he has guards on patrol, but what if they were to do something fishy behind him? One of the possible panic rooms has a window in it, effectively rendering it vulnerable to snipers. Safe that's hidden behind a painting cliché. Also, neither the guards nor Ryan Ross seem to care about the empty, open safe regardless of difficulty.
serious?
I forgot to mention this, but this scope is a low-rise crosshair. This walkway has no barriers on its sides. Whoever thought it was a good idea doesn't know what safety is. Bookshelf that hides a room cliché. Also, inability to move the bookshelf back during stealth. Jackdaw would be outstanding for a blocks game since it's kind of funny how nobody ever picks the keycard up and places it back on any table when it's dropped beside the vending machine or left on the chair. If the game requires you to interrogate the employee, you do not have the option to manually find the right power box. Only when you take him or her out before interrogation, then the game forces you to search for the correct power box. That is some flawed logic right there, because why does the freelancer only have one choice for that particular scenario, other than for the sake of gameplay? You might say that the freelancer has to follow Jackdaw's orders, but I'm sure he would have approved using both methods anyway. This actually works. The manager doesn't ask for an identity verification to access a bank vault. Also, it's even more stupid if the freelancer has Ryan Ross's hairstyle and uses his identity for the disguise. Ryan is Phoenix's financial backer. He definitely wouldn't have a deposit box in the bank Halcyon uses. The band must be really dumb to not check to see if his name exists in the records during the call. Spot check. Also, the manager doesn't even care if you walk off halfway and could somehow talk to you while you are away. And the fact he isn't alerted when there are no guards outside the vault. This open door mechanic / glitch. You can't close the door when this happens and this could ruin stealth gameplay. Jackdaw was put for assassination because of his betrayal, which got classified. His so-called betrayal was from eliminating the rest of Halcyon's leaders under the orders of the director. It's puzzling why the director would want to kill Jackdaw and not keep him for his future plans, which is more beneficial. But since this game needs an antagonist, that is not to be. I could still hear the confused screaming of the players who unlocked this cutscene, asking why are we suddenly with Jackdaw? No wonder why the game has a non-linear narrative. If it were to go linear and started from the black site, there would be no plot twist. Smart entry idea, but how is the freelancer able to cut through the shipping container without making any noise and no gear lying around? That there's no 24/7 guard patrol around the ship and storage. The guard on the balcony doesn't spot the freelancer. Without any perks and on legend difficulty no less. I can understand why the Raven Rose receives isn't suppressed due to concealment problems, but why can't she get a suppressed pistol or similar during stealth? If anything happens, at least she could shoot without alerting the base. Says this when she reveals her name 3 years later. I know it's a long time gap, but it's still getting counted as a sin. Rose must be an Onyx prototype since she survives gunshots and explosions. 2 conveniently placed demo charges for destroying the 2 SAM turrets. High security wargate doesn't require identity verification for code authorization. No bonus cutscene to witness Rose and Ren playing band hero. Funny how Rose says this when meanwhile, Steel Code were on their way here. Like Ryan's penthouse, this Phoenix safe house only has cameras outside but none inside, thus causing flawed security. Game says Phoenix operatives cannot be hostaged or interrogated, but somehow the camera operator shows otherwise. I know it's a game level, but it's definitely easier and more logical to go up this route to scout, but the game doesn't allow you to because difficulty. You also can't squeeze through this hole despite it having no glass in the way. Phoenix leaves crucial info around the safe house, instead of in a separate, secure room. These Phoenix operatives could leave the map to check for a suspicious item, but when I place a body bag here, this guy stupidly doesn't go there and goes here instead. What's even more hilarious is this. Usually I won't sing glitches, but see for yourself. and the fact that the operative sinks into the afterlife despite being able to stand on the shore. This chopper only has 2 positions to go to. Why can't it go outwards and shoot the duck and boat is anyone's guess. Ren doesn't bring a suppressed gun to assassinate the freelancer, you know, to avoid alarming anyone. Ren pulls off the antagonist cliché of monologuing instead of using the perfect moment to kill the protagonist, eventually resulting in his death. Really? Ren couldn't headshot the freelancer with the final shot. Also, protagonist gets saved right on time cliché. I'm probably going to get called out for this, but screw the scientist on Legend Stealth and Airman, screw it hard. You really got to pray to RNG that there are no sudden radioian guards incoming, and besides, there is almost no cover to hide from the guards outside. It is even more frustrating if you are trying to get the no-kills badges, since you have to take out the second in command, get the keycard, and then knock everyone out on the map without getting caught. I'm honestly glad I've managed to get the badge eventually. According to Rose's dossier, which was last updated in 2015, Halcyon already knew that the freelancer joined Phoenix. The scientist happened in 2016. How did Falcon not immediately recognize the freelancer and kill him or her? Rivera is a computer scientist who worked on Project Onyx and has been working at the high-security Halcyon bunker, yet she's still able to get a transfer to a much less secure safe house despite Halcyon knowing that a few operatives of theirs tried defecting. It is obviously more difficult for Halcyon to work with her away from the bunker, which houses the Onyx prototype, so why would they allow Rivera to transfer other than for the sake of the plot? If you haven't found out who the second in command is after several minutes, Jackdaw actually finds it out for you. Dear scientist, perhaps I've treated you too harshly. I know it's for the Easter egg, but why would a new model for an electronic lock have multiple ways of bypassing it? Halcyon doesn't use a stronger password. Speaking of informants, why hasn't Halcyon sent double agents to join Phoenix? It would have definitely helped in taking it down. Why not just do it now? This is the perfect opportunity to talk about everything. Metal detector doesn't detect a knife despite it being a metal detector. Why would a security guard come outside to check on a camera instead of a janitor? The hack conveniently pings a PC that nobody uses. The parrot pet breaks the rules of safety. Again. Being a CSIS agent also allows you to dress up like a punk. These idiots use the elevator instead of the stairs in an emergency. I know there isn't any stairs present on the map, but it's still really stupid. Sparrow, I know you are carefree, but whatever you said sounds really stupid. These Halcyon idiots seriously wasted their missiles by not shooting down Sparrow, who was literally near them. I see that Jackdaw specializes in off-screen stealth as well. Jackdaw thinks it's a good idea to send a maximum of 4 operatives to the bunker where Project Onyx is housed and expect them to survive an army of Halcyon operatives. Since Phoenix is temporarily protected by plot armor, they actually succeed until the escape. No Jackdaw, I still have Barnman Legend to beat. Halcyon's base security remain incompetent despite multiple warnings from Phoenix and knowing that they are coming to destroy them. They don't ask for any identity verification or do a spot check for anything. You might say that there's security above the bunker and the freelancer might have been through them, which is probably true, but it's a sin on them for not doing a double check. Game repeats the withdrawal shenanigan by making the guard still being able to talk to you while you run away. Halcyon's high-security bunker has a convenient, unguarded vent area for ordnances to be thrown down and used. Seriously? Nobody seems to care about the open vault. I know this sounds nitpicky, but regardless of doing it stealth or loud, we're blowing up Halcyon's bunker either way. I'm sure Rose would have approved it, but anyway. Nobody camps outside the elevator and prepare to shoot any Phoenix operatives incoming. The vault magically opens its door after the thermite has burnt through the ceiling. Haha, puns. We interrupt entry point to bring you the Terminator. But that's not the reason it's getting sent. The thing is, why deploy the Onyx unit now and not before Phoenix plant the bombs? If that's as a last resort, then it's kind of pointless since the bunker is going to explode and everyone still in it will die anyway. So, you mean to tell me that there are no archived, hard copy evidences locked away for investigation purposes? You might say that Phoenix had stolen them quietly, but the game never confirms it, so it's a sin. Rose forgets that normal, civilian life is a thing. I don't know about this, but it's something I have to point out. While this might have made for a nice, bittersweet ending, it makes no sense whatsoever if you still have several minutes remaining on the clock. It's not like the timer would magically jump to 24 seconds all of a sudden. You could say that Halcyon tried to defuse all of the bombs and it just so happened to skip the time, and that's probably true, but it's a sin on their incompetent team for being this underprepared for Phoenix's attacks, despite multiple warnings from them. Moreover, this scene was portrayed in a way that Halcyon stopped the elevator at the last 24 seconds. Either they took really long to notice the bombs, which shouldn't be the case since guards patrolled this area, or they deliberately stopped the elevator at the 24-second mark, which is frankly stupid. Of course, the ending makes sense if you have 1 to 3 minutes to spare, but confusing and questionable after 5 minutes or so, considering you don't know how deep the bunker is and a lack of detail in this particular scene. I can accept the fact the freelancer dies regardless, but it's a sin on the game's continuity and logic. Press it to pay respects to Rose and yourself. Okay, I might have been really nitpicky. But seriously. This is an excellent game with ideas not directly copied from existing games, and combined for a unique experience. Way to go, C Chateau. Make this game win multiple Bloxy awards.